Hello, I'm Mohammad Yagini and I will be presenting our joint work with my co-authors Andreas Krause and Huda Eideri. The study of algorithmic fairness has provided us with numerous definitions of fairness, but no one definition has prevailed in every decision-making context. Indeed, it has been shown through various impossibility results that these definitions are incompatible and that they reflect different moral assumptions. So fairness is complex and context-dependent, which is why often off-the-shelf definitions fail to adequately capture it across a wide range of domains. In this work, we propose constructing context-aware fairness measures by bringing human judgment into the process of formulating fairness given the decision-making context. The fairness notions we construct belong to the equality of opportunity framework, which has been shown to capture existing group-level fairness notions as special cases. In this framework, we distinguish between factors that can morally justify unequal outcomes, and we will refer to them as desert or D, and factors that should not lead to unequal outcomes. We refer to these as circumstance or C. Formally, a utility distribution F under allocation policy phi satisfies EOP if all decision subjects with a similar desert level have the same prospect of earning utility regardless of their circumstance. Therefore, to define a context-aware notion of fairness in this framework, we need to understand people's situated judgment regarding desert, circumstance, and utility. Our approach is thus to elicit a human judgment towards C, D, and U by asking participants a series of pairwise comparison questions. This allows us to quantify fairness measure indirectly from the choices made by our participants. I will illustrate our framework using a hypothetical criminal risk prediction scenario that we synthesized using the COMPASS dataset. We assume predictions about future crime directly translate into sentencing decisions for criminal defendants. We emphasize that this choice is to ground our illustration in a real-world use case of ML, and that there are numerous issues with the use of ML in this context that our work does not tackle. With this running example in mind, let's begin by overviewing our framework for estimating the EOP parameters based on the feedback we receive from an individual participant. Our first step is to ask participants to tell us their opinion on whether each attribute is circumstantial or not. To estimate the participants' assessment of desert, we show them the attributes of two hypothetical defendants and ask them which one deserves a more lenient decision. We assume that there exists a linear function that maps the defendant's attributes to their value, but that we do not directly observe the desert value itself. So instead, we have to find the linear function weights through maximizing the likelihood of observed responses. Similarly, to estimate utility, we ask our participants to compare the utility that an algorithmic decision can provide to two different decision subjects. We keep the same assumptions of linearity for the utility function and find the linear coefficients using MLE. So far, we have provided a way for turning an individual participant's responses into an EOP-based mathematical formulation of fairness. Different participants may have different judgments, so we need to have a way of aggregating their judgments into a single fairness notion. We provide two such aggregation methods in our work, one based on bird account and one using a Bayesian hierarchical model. To illustrate our framework in practice, we conducted an experiment on Amazon Mechanical Turk with 99 participants. We briefly provide some of our findings here. In terms of circumstance, participants consider race and gender as part of a defendant's circumstance. According to our participants, younger defendants generally deserve a more lenient sentencing decision. The same holds if a defendant is female or non-white. In terms of utility, participants on average believe that most of these factors should play a role in determining a defendant's deserved sentencing decision. So in conclusion, our work addresses a critical gap in the growing literature on fair ML. Currently, ML practitioners are primarily designers of mathematical notions of fairness, and there is no systematic way of bringing human judgment into the process of formulating fairness. Our work takes an important step towards empowering people's participation in this process, but it must be viewed with its limitations. I have listed some of these limitations, but please visit the paper for a detailed discussion of these limitations and directions for future work.